Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. So students, welcome back to Shiksha Marg 108. Today we are continuing the mathematics topic of section and midpoint formula. So let's jump right into it. As you can see on the screen, the question is, in what ratio is the line joining 2 minus 4 and minus 3, 6 divided by the y-axis? Quite straightforward. Let's have the points A as 2 minus 4 and B minus 3, 6. Now we are interested to know how the y-axis, which is basically like this, dividing the join of A and B, or the line segment AB. So let's have the ratio as m is to n. Let's have the point P where the y-axis is intersecting the join of AB. Of course, as we know, it is the y-axis, so we know one coordinate definitely, which is the x-coordinate. The x-coordinate on the y-axis is going to be always 0. The y-coordinate can have any value from positive infinity to negative infinity. So we go from the known to the unknown. Px is known to us, which is 0. Alright. Now, for understanding of the formula, Px would be equals to m times minus 3 plus n times 2. The whole upon m plus n. And that's equals to 0. So this is minus 3m plus twice n equals m plus n times 0 is going to be 0. So taking 3m on the other side becomes positive 3m, which is equals to twice n. M over n is equal to now 2 over 3. That's your answer. That's the ratio. 2 is to 3. Quite straightforward, quite simple. Yeah. Next question now. All right. So the next question, in what ratio does the point 1a divide the join of minus 1, 4 and 4 minus 1. Let's try to understand this question. They're asking us in what ratio. So the ratio is required. Obviously, the point P is given, which is basically dividing the join of these 2 points. So let's call these 2 points as A minus 1, 4 and B 4 minus 1. Alright, so the English is pretty straightforward over there. The join of AB. So let's do that. A is minus 1, 4. B is 4 minus 1, and we got a point which is 1a. Let's have that point over here, P1a, and it's dividing this line segment AB in a certain ratio, m is to n. Now the question is quite straightforward. They have given us the x coordinate of point P but not the y coordinate, and they ask us the ratio in which point P is dividing the line segment AB. So quite straightforward. Let's go again from the known to the unknown. So Px is known to us, which is 1. Let's go with that. Px is 1. The formula for Px would be m times the x coordinate of B, which is 4, plus n times the coordinate of A, which is minus 1, the whole upon m plus n. Px happens to be 1, so that's pretty straightforward. M plus n goes on the other side, is going to be times 1, so that's going to be m plus n times 1. This remains over here as 4m minus n. So 4m minus n. I hope that's making sense to you guys. 4m minus m is going to be 3m. This negative n goes on the other side, becomes positive n, so that's twice n. So m over n is 2 over 3. That's the ratio. So the ratio in which point P is dividing this line AB is 2 over 3. That is quite straightforward. Now the next bit is what they're asking us to find the y coordinate of P. So let's do that real quickly. So the next bit would be to, so I'll just remove this and then jump on to the part where we are doing the y coordinate. So P, so now since we know the ratio, we're going to be using the values 2 times minus 1 plus 3 times 4, the whole upon 2 plus 3. That's going to be minus 2 plus 3 times 4 is 12, the whole over 5. That's going to be 12 minus 2 is 10, of course, over 5. That's going to be 2. So the value of A happens to be 2. I hope that's making sense to you. Pretty straightforward. Let's go to the next question real quickly. All right. Quite informed now today, aren't we? Well done. In what ratio does the point, so this is the point P for us, divide the join? So that's join A and B. Again, let's really quickly get the line segment done. That's line segment AB for us. So that's A. That's going to be minus 4, 3. B is 2, 8. And then we got a point P, which is going to be A, 6. All right, the ratio is m is to n. They're asking us what's the value of a and what's the ratio. So we're going to be going again from the known to the unknown, as we always do that. So the known value is the y coordinate of p. So that's py equals 6. So the formula would be py equals m times y coordinate of b, which is 8, plus n times the the y coordinate of a, which is 3, the whole upon, which is m plus n. Now that py coordinate is basically 6. So m plus n times 6 is going to be 6m plus 6n, and this is going to be 8m plus 3n. Now 8m minus 6m is going to be 2m, and 6n minus 3n is going to be 3n. So m over n is equal to 3 over 2. So 3:2 is the ratio. So that's pretty straightforward, right? All right. The next part is we find the value of a. So let me just get rid of this, since we now know what is the ratio. So this is going to be px equals 3 times 2, the x coordinate of b, which is, plus 2 times minus 4, the x coordinate of a, the whole over 3 plus 2. So that's going to be 3 times 2 is 6, minus 2 times 4 is 8, the whole over 3 plus 2 is 5. 6 minus 8 is going to be minus 2 over 5. So the coordinate of point P, the x coordinate or the value of A, is minus 2 over 5. Hope that's making sense to you guys as well. Pretty straightforward, yeah? Well done. Let's go to the next bit real quickly. In what ratio, alright, so that's m is to n again, they're asking, alright, there is a join, so that's the join A and that's B, divided by the x-axis. Also find the coordinates of the point of intersection. So that's basically, we'll find the point P, x, y, and since it's the x-axis, we already know that y coordinate is going to be 0 for us. So real quick, let's quickly make the join. So that's going to be A 4 3, B is 2 minus 6, and this is the x-axis we're talking about. So this is the x-axis. All right, this x-axis looks like this. This is the point P, which is dividing the line AB in a certain ratio. So let's call that ratio m is to n, obviously. And we know the x coordinate is going to be something on the x-axis, but the y coordinate is definitely going to be 0. So that's pretty straightforward. Again, going from the known to the unknown. So we know Py is equal to 0. So from there we go and do the bit where we get the value of the ratio m is to n. So Py is equal to m times the y coordinate, which is minus 6 of B, plus n times the y coordinate of A, which is 3, the whole upon m plus n, and that's equals to 0 since we have talked about the y coordinate. M plus n times 0 is going to be 0, so that's it. And this is minus 6m plus 3n equals 0. Therefore what's going to happen is 6m goes over there, becomes positive 6m equals 3n. M over n is basically 3 over 6. I'm just going to write this over here. I'm sorry about the clutter, but m over n is equal to 1 over 2 then. So this is 1:2. Quite interesting, yeah. And as you can just even see, I drew the diagram quite similar in the fashion of 1:2 as well. So yay, we didn't even know, but we drew it. Fantastic. All right, so going to the next bit. So we got the value of the ratio. We now need the value of the x coordinate. So let's quickly do that. So Px is equal to now 1 times the x coordinate of B plus 2 times the x coordinate of A, which is 4, the whole upon the ratio, which is 1 plus 2, which is m plus n. So that's going to be 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 4 is 8, 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 8 is 10 over 3. That's quite straightforward. That's the coordinate. Px is going to be 10 over 3. So the coordinates of the points are, so this is xy. We're going to write, we're going to write it properly like 10 upon 3, 0. That's the coordinate of point P. I hope that's making sense to you. Pretty straightforward. Fantastic. Let's go to the next bit. All right. The next one is quite straightforward. Find the ratio again. This is m is to n, in which the join so that's point A and that's point B, is divided by the y-axis. Also find the points for the point of intersection. Pretty straightforward, the same thing again, but this time it's just the y-axis which is given. So let's call this as the y-axis, and I'm going to just put the value of A and B. This is the line A, this is the line B. So A is given to us as -4, 7. I'll write this over here, and B is given as 3, 0, and this is the point P, which we are having as the intersection of the y-axis and the line segment AB. So for the y-axis, we're going to be always having the x-coordinate 0 and the y-coordinate having values from -infinity to +infinity. So let's quickly get the value of the ratio m:n, which is basically this part. So Px is known to us now. Px happens to be 0. We'll do that. And next bit is going to be, so Px equals m times 3 plus n times -4, the whole upon m plus n. That's equals to 0, of course. M plus n times 0 is going to be 0. This is 3m minus 4n. 3m is equal to 4n as it goes over there. This is m over n equals 4 over 3. The ratio is 4:3. Quite straightforward. The next bit is find the coordinates of point P. So we know the first coordinate of the x, which is the x coordinate, which is P, which is 0. Now we need just the y coordinate, so that's going to be by using the ratio which we just found out. So that's going to be 4 times the y coordinate of B, which is 0, plus 3 times the y coordinate of A, which is 7, the whole upon 4 plus 3. So that's going to be 4 times 0 is 0, plus 3 times 7 is 21, the whole upon 4 plus 3, which is 7, plus 21 over 7, that's going to be 3. So we got the y coordinate, which is 3. So the coordinates of the point P, xy would be now 0 and 3. Oh, that's making sense to you, right? So let's jump to the next bit real quickly. That's the next question. Now this is quite interesting. Points A, B, C and D divide the line segment joining the point this and the origin. So let's call this point as, now we can't use the point A over here, so we're going to call this as, let's say, L. That's just a random letter. And then this is the origin, so we'll call this as O, in 5 equal parts. That's quite interesting. Find the coordinates of B and D. That's what they're asking us to do. So now we have a line segment which is basically starting from L, and then we got O. O is the origin, so that's 0, 0. This is the point L, which is 5 minus 10. Alright, and points A, B, C and D divide the line segment joining the points in 5 equal parts. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be A, B, C, D. I'm sorry that it doesn't look equal, but you get the idea. So these are 5 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 equal parts. I'm sorry about the dimensions, but it's freehand and we're just doing it quickly. So find the coordinates of point B and D. So we're focusing on the point B and D. So we start off with B first. What's going to be the idea about the ratio is that since these are equal parts, so there are 2 parts over here left side and 3 parts on the other side. So that's the ratio, pretty straightforward. So we can now get the coordinates of B quite straightforward because we got the ratio and we got the 2 points as well. So let's do that. So let's get the value of the x coordinate of point B. That's going to be 2 times 0, the x coordinate of origin, plus 3 times 5, the x coordinate of point L, the whole upon 2 plus 3. That's going to be 0 plus, this is 3 times 5, which is 15. So 15 over 5, 2 plus 3, 5, that's 3. So we got the coordinate, x coordinate of B, which is 3. That's quite straightforward, yeah? And then we do the same for the y coordinate of B, which is going to be 2 times 0 plus 3 times minus 10, the whole over 2 plus 3. That's going to be 0 minus 30. So I'm just going to write that down. Minus 30 over 2 plus 3, which is 5. That's going to be minus 6. So we got the value of the y coordinate is minus 6 as well. So we got the value of B. So that's going to be 3 minus 6, right? That's 3 minus 6 for us. Now we do the same thing with D. So I got of B. Now we'll do the same thing for D, but now we got to change the ratio because looking at all together. So this is D. As you can see, towards the point L, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, and towards O, we got just one part. So the ratio now in which D divides the line segment is 4:1. So that's how we're going to be using the values of m:n for finding dx and dy. So dx, the x coordinate of D, would be 4 times the x coordinate of the origin, which is 0, plus 1 times of L, which is 5, the whole upon, this is going to be 4 plus 1, which is 5. That's going to be 0 plus 5, which is 5 over 5, which is 1. So we got the x coordinate of D, which is 1. That's quite straightforward. Dy, let's find the y coordinate of D now. 4 times 0, which is going to be 0, plus 1 times minus 10, which is going to be minus 10, the whole upon 4 plus 1, which is 5. I hope you get a sense of this. I'm doing a bit fast now, so there's no point in going with the same repetitive method. I hope this is making sense to you in a faster way. So that's going to be minus 10 over 5, which is minus 2. I hope that's making sense. This is minus 2. So we got the y coordinate of point D as well. So that's minus 2. And x coordinate is 1. So I believe that's pretty straightforward. The answer is 1 and minus 2. And for the coordinates of point B is 3 and minus 6. I hope that's making sense. Well done. Let's quickly go to the next question now. This is quite interesting. So the line joining the points A so and so and B so and so is divided by point P such that we got a ratio. So PB upon AB is equal to 1:5. Let's make sense of this real quickly. So this is the line AB. All right. So I'm going to note this down. This is minus 3 minus 10. B is minus 2, 6. And we got a point P. So this is point P. I'm just going to be randomly putting this value over here. We want the coordinates of x, y. So this is in a certain ratio in such a way that PB the whole upon AB. So AB is 5. Yeah. So AB is 5 and PB is 1. So this AB is the whole thing. This is 5 parts. And this is PB, which is 1. So obviously 4 parts remain of AP. So we got the idea, right? So this is PB, which is this part. And then they got AB, which is the whole thing. The whole thing is 5. So if we got 1 part, 4 part remains. So this part is 4. All right. So that's making sense. So P is dividing the line segment AB in the ratio 4:1. So that's the starting bit. Let's now, most important bit. So we got the values of M and N as well. So let's get the values of the coordinates of P. So Px is equal to now 4 times the x coordinate of point A, which is in B, which is minus 2. That's going to be minus 2 plus 1 times the x coordinate of A, which is minus 3, the whole upon, this is 4 plus 1. That's going to be minus 8 minus 3, the whole upon 4 plus 1, which is 5. That's going to be minus 8 minus 3, that's minus 11 over 5. So that's the x coordinate. I mean, there's no point in, simplifying it further or getting it in a decimal point. This is good enough. This is minus 11 over 5, the x coordinate. Yeah. And let's look at the y coordinate. I'm going to erase real quickly. I hope you got the idea of the x coordinate. The y coordinate is going to be py equals, this is 4 times 6, the y coordinate of B, plus 1 times, this is minus 10, the y coordinate of A, the whole upon is going to be 4 plus 1. That's going to be 4 times 6 is 24 minus 10, the whole over 5, which is 4 plus 1, 5. 24 minus 10 is obviously 14, and that's 5. So that's 14 over 5. That's 14 over 5. I hope that's making sense to you. This is minus 11 over 5 and 14 over 5. Fantastic. That's the answer of the coordinates of point P. Let's jump to the next bit real quickly now. Well done, chaps. All right. So P is a point on line, okay, joining A and B, obviously. Fine. So let's quickly get A and B sorted. So this is A, which is 4, 3, B, which is minus 2, 6, and we got a point P in a certain ratio. So let's just write that down. AP upon BP is equal to 2:5. So let's make sense of where point P is. This is P, right? So AP is 2 parts and PB or BP is 5 parts. So that's pretty straightforward, right? So AP is 2 parts, BP is 5 parts. In all, the whole line is 7 parts in total length, right? So that's the whole idea. So we're supposed to be finding the x and the y coordinates of point P. So I'm just going to get this bit erased because this information is already known to us. Now Px, which is the x coordinate, is going to be 2 times minus 2 plus 5 times 4, the whole upon, this is going to be 2 plus 5. That's going to be minus 4 plus 20 over 7. That's going to be 20 minus 4 is 16 over 7. That's the x coordinate of P, which is 16 over 7. I hope that's making sense. Now we quickly go and get the y coordinate. So the y coordinate of P is going to be Py equals 2 times 6, yeah, plus 5 times 3, the whole over 2 plus 5. That's going to be 2 times 6 is 12 plus 5 times 3 is 15, the whole over 2 plus 5 is 7. So this is 12 plus 15 is 27, 10 plus 10, 20, 2 plus 5, 7, 27 over 7. So the y coordinate is 27 over 7. I hope that's making sense to you guys. Fantastic. Well done. Well, calculate the ratio in which the line joining points, this is A, this is B. We're finding the ratio m is to n is divided by the line x equals 2. X equals 2. Let's make sense of this. So this is the line segment A. This is B. A is given as minus 3, minus 1. B is given as 5, 7 and is divided by the line x equals 2. Line x equals 2 is going to be, let's say this is the x-axis, this is point 2. This is how the line is going to look. Of course, it's going to be through 2. So this is going to be having infinite y coordinates, but definitely an x coordinate which is 2. 100%. This is going to be any value, infinite values could be taken. X coordinate is going to be 200%. So let's make the line x equals 2. So this is the point P where it is intersecting the line segment AB. This is xy. We know for sure now that the point P, which is x equals 2, of the line x equals 2, is going to be having the x coordinate as 2. Y coordinate is something which we are trying to find. The ratio is also something which you're finding now. So always, again, as I say, go from the known to the unknown. We know the value 2 for sure now. So let's do that. So Px equals m times the x coordinate of B, which is 5, plus n times the x coordinate of A, which is minus 3, the whole over m plus n. And this value is equals to, as we have now seen, is to be 2. This is 5m minus 3n. And this m plus n goes to the other side, which is going to be m plus n over here. This is 5m minus 3n equals twice m plus twice n. Twice m goes over here, becomes 5m minus 2m, which is going to be 3m. 3n, this negative 3n goes over there, becomes positive 3n. 2n plus 3n is going to be 5n. So m over n is equal to 5 over 3. That's the ratio we got. So it's 5. Let me just write this down properly. This is 5 is to 3. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. That's 5 is to 3, the ratio. Now we are interested to find the y coordinate. So let's just get to the y coordinate. Py equals, so we now know the ratio, 5 times 7, which is the y coordinate of B, is 5 times 7 plus 3 times the y coordinate of A, which is 3 times minus 1, the whole upon 5 plus 3. That's 5 times 7 is 35 minus 3. 5 plus 3 equals 8. 35 minus 3 is 32 over 8. And we know 8 times 4 is 32. So the y coordinate of point P is 4. So it's quite straightforward. The coordinates of P, x, y are 2 and 4. Yeah, quite straightforward. I hope this is making sense to you. Let's jump to the next question quickly. All right. So next question, calculate the ratio. Again, they're asking us to find m is to o, on which the line joining, so this is a join A and B, is divided by the line y equals 2. So I hope you got the idea about, the x equals something line and y equals something line. So this line y equals 2 is actually parallel to the x-axis. Yeah, so that's pretty straightforward. And obviously the line y equals 2 is going to say the value of the y coordinate is always going to be 2, but the x coordinate is going to be always, positive infinity, negative infinity, depends upon whichever we are looking at. So looking at the segment AB, point A is 6, 5, B is 4, minus 3, and we got a line which is y equals 2, so it's going to be parallel to the x-axis. So I'm going to be having the line look something like this. So this is y equals 2. Now obviously, as we now know, the y coordinate is fixed, which is 2, the x coordinate is x, and this point is obviously P, the point of intersection. They're asking us to find the ratio m is to n, and obviously asking us the coordinates of the intersection point as well. So we know 2. So we always go from the known to the unknown. Let's do that. Py equals m times minus 3, the y coordinate, plus n times 5, the y coordinate thing, over m plus n. This is going to be minus 3m plus 5n. This is m plus 5n, the whole thing upon m plus n, and py is given to us as 2. So let's just use that bit. So I'm going to solve this over here now. It's going to be minus 3m plus 5n equals twice m plus twice n. I hope that's making sense. Minus 3m over here becomes negative, so that's going to be minus 3m minus 2m minus 5m, and this thing goes over there, becomes 2n minus 5n. That's going to be minus 3n. So negative sign goes away. That's all good for us. M over n is 3 over 5. That's the ratio for us. This is 3 as well. All right, so pretty straightforward. They're not asking us to find the x coordinate in this, so it's all good. So that's pretty much the sum. If you want to find the x coordinate, we do the same thing with the known values of m is to n now. Jump into the next question. Quite a marathon session this, yeah? The point P, 5 minus 4. Alright, divides the line segment AB. This is line segment AB as shown in the figure, and the ratio 2 is to 5. So always read from the point which is given. So A is given first and 2 is given first. So this point P is dividing the line segment in the ratio 2 is to 5. That's pretty straightforward. Find the coordinates of point A and B. So they're asking us to find the coordinates of A and coordinates of B. Now, if you look at the figure closely, they've given us some information in terms of the x-axis and the y-axis. Now, from this information, it's pretty straightforward that the x coordinate on the x-axis is going to be having some value. Let's call that as x. And the y coordinate is going to be always 0 on the x-axis. So we know of point A, the y coordinate is definitely 0. Let's look at point B. This is the y-axis. So the point B is on the y-axis. So on the y-axis, the x coordinate always happens to be 0. The y coordinate is going to be taking some value. Let's call it as y. So that's the information which they have given. Let's make sense of this information, going from the known to the unknown as always. So let's go with the point P, x coordinate. So that's px equals 5. And if you take the ratio, that's going to be 5 times x plus 2 times 0, the whole upon 5 plus 2. That's going to be 5x. This 2 times 0 is 0. So 5x over 7 equals, that's going to be 5. So 7 times 5 is 35. So therefore 5x equals 35, x equals 7. You could just have cancel the 5 out and send 7 over there. So x equals 7. That's quite interesting. We got the coordinate of the x coordinate of A, which is 7, and the y coordinate is 0. Let's do that for B to find the y coordinate. So py is equal to 5 times 0 plus 2 times y, the whole upon 5 plus 2, and py value happens to be for us minus 4. So 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 times minus 4 is minus 28, and this is 5 times 0 0, 2y. So this is 2y equals minus 28, y equals minus 14. That's quite straightforward. So that's 0 and minus 14. So you got the answer of coordinates A and B. So A is 7 0 and B is 0 minus 14. Well, that's making sense. Quite an interesting sum this. Let's go to the next one real quickly now. So find the coordinates of the points of trisection of the line joining the points. So let's call this as A, let's call this as B. So let's make the line segment AB. That's A, which is -3, 0. B is 6, 6. Now they're asking us to find the coordinates of the points of trisection. Trisection, three sections. So 3 equal sections. So that's basically something like 1 and 2. So that you got 3 sections over here. This is section 1, section 2, section 3. Let's points P and Q. So if I'm taking point P, all right, the ratio would be 1 and these two parts 2. So if I start with point P, M is 1, N is 2. So let's do that real quickly. It us to find the coordinates of PXY and then QXY as well. So let's do that. Just draw a demarcation line over here for us to solve things quickly. I'm going to use a different ink. That's Px equals 1 times 6 plus 2 times -3, the whole over 1 plus 2, which is 3. The 6 plus 2 times -3 is -6. 6 minus 6 is 0. Anything upon 0 is going to be 0. So that's good enough. We got the x coordinate as 0. Let's look at the y coordinate. 1 times 6 plus 2 times 0, the whole upon 1 plus 2, which is 3. That's going to be 6 plus 2 times 0 is 0. So 6 upon 3, which is 2. So you got the coordinate 0, 2 for the point P, the first point. Now let's look at the point Q. So I hope this is making sense. Let's look at point Q now. The ratio is going to change obviously. So I'm going to change this bit. So now we are focusing on point Q. So 2 parts over here, 1 part over here. So let's make sense of the coordinates of Q. So this is QX times 6 plus 1 times -3, the whole over 2 plus 1. This is going to be 2 times 6, 12, minus 3, the whole upon 3. That's going to be 12 minus 3, which is going to be 9 over 3, which is 3. Yeah, that's the bit we're looking at. QI is equal to now 2 times 6 plus 1 times 0, the whole upon, this is going to be 2 plus 1. This is 12 plus 0, which is 12, the whole upon 3, which is going to be 4. Yeah, this is 4 now. So the coordinates of point Q are 3 and 4. I hope that's making sense to you. So, okay. So show that the line segment joining the points, so that's A for us and that's B for us, is trisected by the coordinate axis. So trisection means, we're dividing the line segment into 3 sections, and who are dividing it? None other than the coordinate axis. Fantastic. So let's look at the line segment AB. So that's A, that's B. A is -5, 8. B is 10, -4. Now I'm going to be having a certain axis, let's say the y-axis, which looks something like this, okay, and it's going to be trisecting. So let's have it slightly over here. That's one part. So not at least, we need 3 parts. This is one part, this is the second part, and that's the third part. So let's say the first part is formed by the intersection of the y-axis, and the second part is by the intersection of the x-axis. Yeah, that's making sense, I hope. So that's what we're doing. This is the x-axis. Now we're supposed to be finding, show that the line segments joining the points so and so is trisected. So this is P, this is point Q, and we're supposed to be showing that this point P is dividing the line segment in the ratio 1:2. That's what the whole idea is. So, and Q is dividing the line segment AB as 2:1. All right. So because we're talking about this, so this is going to be 2 and this is going to be 1. Okay, let's make sense of this. How does this work about? All right. So we've got P over here. So this is Px. So on the y-axis, the x coordinate is always going to be 0. And the y coordinate is going to be y. So I'm going to be going with the known value, which is x coordinate. So Px is equal to 0. And for us, we don't know the ratio. So let's call that m and n. this should come as 1:2. This is not known, guys. Okay, this is not known. We are supposed to be getting this answer. So they're asking us, show that the line segment joining by the points A and B is trisected. So this ratio is supposed to be coming out, but we do not know this. We're supposed to be showing m is 1 and n is 2. I hope that makes sense. So let's do that. M times 10 plus n times minus 5 the whole upon m plus n, and we definitely know that the x colon of p is 0, so we're going to do that. So m plus n times 0 is going to be 0. That's all 0. This is 10m minus 5n. 5n, the negative 5n goes over there, becomes positive 5n. 10m equals 5n. So m over n is 5. M over n is 10. 5 over 10, which is 1:2. So m is definitely 1, fantastic, and n is 2, fantastic. So we got the ratio that p is dividing definitely the line segment AB in the ratio 1:2. So that's the first trisection point. Whew, that's done, right? So since now we know the ratio of p, let's get down to with q. So I'm going to just get erased. I'm going to get this thing erased real quickly, and I'm going to get y-axis away as well, so that it looks a bit clearer. This is q. For q, this is the x-axis. X is going to be some value definitely, but the y coordinate is going to be 0 as it's on the x-axis. So we go from the known to the unknown. This is qy. Again, we're finding m is to n. This should come out as 2:1. Yeah, 2:1. But let's see that. So qy equals m times minus 4 plus n times 8 the whole upon m plus n, and qy value happens to be obviously 0. That's 0 for us. So therefore what happens is minus 4m plus 8n equals m plus n times 0 is 0. 4m goes over there, becomes positive 4m, and equals 8n. So m over n is 8 over 4, which is 2:1. So m is definitely 2, which we wanted, and n is 1, which we also wanted. So point P and point Q are definitely trisecting the line segment AB. I hope that's making sense to you. Whew, quite an interesting sum this. Alright guys, I hope this is making sense to you. It's been quite a marathon session. I would definitely be putting more videos with more interesting sums so that this becomes a very clear topic. I hope this is making sense so far. And do like, share and subscribe to the channel, and do check the assignments that we put on the website shikshamarg108.com, and definitely check in on with the videos as well. We keep on dropping interesting and fantastic videos for you to make sense of mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology. So right now we're focusing on mathematics and physics mostly. So in a few days definitely we're going to be seeing a few more interesting topics coming in. Right, that's pretty much it then guys. Well done. Take care. Enjoy. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Bye-bye.